I'm flying high and the spirits in the room. Waking up the ACIM, breaking out the tune. Can't let the ego run the show. Let it judge and let it shout. Why the light has found out what we choose to live without. Yesterday I was blind, but today I'm seeing clear. If you ain't about a brother, then you moving out of fear. You saying he your enemy and he deserve the pain, but that energy you putting out is coming back again. That's your projection, ego lay the trap. When you judge a brother, you got kept the same slack. Unconditional love, yeah, that's the kind I'm seeking. I see the Christ in you and I'm loving what I'm seeing.
That's your projection, the ego lays a trap. When you judge, you're gonna catch the same slap. Unconditional love, yeah, that's the kind I'm seeking. I see the Christ in you and I'm loving what I'm seeing. Yeah. Hand in hand we go into the streets of gold. We're breaking them all. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. The kingdom is the one in front of you. Forgiveness lights the way. Return the truth. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. Yeah, me and you, yeah, 2 by 2. Heaven is entered 2 by 2.
Sin ain't even real, it's just a lack of the light. A glitch inside the software, a blur in your sight. The only judge is Jah, the only power, yeah, that's true. You ain't no second God, what can your judgment even do? Unforgiveness is a poison that you drinking for a foe. Swallowing the bitterness and drinking it hold. If you see a world of sinners, you gon' feel that in your bones. But see them as your brothers, then you never on your own. Every thought you think reflect the universe you see. If perception is creation, then forgiveness sets you free. We go together hand in hand up into the promised land, where we hold no offense to one another.
We are in the kingdom with our sisters and brothers, 2 by 2, yeah. Heaven is entered 2 by 2, yeah. Hand in hand we go into the streets of gold. We go together hand in hand up into the promised land. We go together hand in hand up into the promised land. We go together hand in hand up into the promised land. When we hold no offense to one another, we in the kingdom with our sisters and brothers, 2 by 2, yeah. Heaven is the love we feel for each other, 2 by 2. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. The kingdom is the one in front of you. Forgiveness lights the way. Return the truth. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. Yeah, me and you, yeah, 2 by 2. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. Yeah, me and you, yeah, 2 by 2. Yeah, heaven is the love we feel for each other. 2 by 2, yeah, we in the kingdom together. 2 by 2, yeah, we in the kingdom together. 2 by 2, yeah, heaven is the love we feel for each other. Heaven is into 2 by 2. The kingdom is the one in front of you. Forgiveness lights the way. 2 by 2. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. Me and you, 2 by 2. Heaven is entered 2 by 2. Yeah, me and you, yeah, 2 by 2.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to LTC, Taste of LTC, day number 4. Can you believe this is our second to last day in 2025? What is going on?
They go so fast. Aaron, that music, I'm telling you, and it's always in the feed like, what's the music? What's the music? You're so good. I want to, like, for those who registered for LTC, I'm going to make sure Aaron makes us a playlist as a bonus. Like, it's so good.
Well, that was, in fact, an ACIM song created just for this event the last 2 days, almost nonstop.
Wow.
So you're welcome.
It's so good. I mean, seriously, everyone in the feed, what is that? What is that?
It's so much fun, man. I've gotten like probably way too obsessed with making AI music lately, but it's just like the coolest technology where you can now make the best possible music to the lyrics and topics that inspire you, empower you. You can make affirmation songs. I just made a song about ACIM that's like an absolute banger. You can rock out to it all day and you're just feeding your mind on ACIM and forgiveness. It's like, this is incredible. Well, we got to use this technology.
this is the deal. Your consciousness combined with that technology and music, I mean, that's high level. That's high vibe. That's high vibe.
It's dangerous, bro. Dangerous.
Watch out. Y'all are going to awaken here.
Yeah. Now, the big problem is, how the crap do I get it on Spotify? That's what I've been trying to figure out.
Oh,
Not as easy as you would think.
Oh, really? Well, that'll get done. That'll be done.
Yes, thy will be done, Lord.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Welcome, everybody, as Aaron said, to A Taste of LTC. This is a phenomenal community that studies A Course in Miracles from January 1 to December 31. We're launching the new program for 2026, and we're here to give you a taste of it because we want you to join us. We're deeply passionate about knowing that the way the world is saved is through this kind of portal. It's through people that dedicate their lives to not just a Sunday drive-by spiritual practice, but it sits at the center of their life pie chart, and it affects every single piece of their life, and it's primary and it's first. Those are the people that will absolutely bring the new consciousness that the world is needing. Aaron and I have both been so profoundly blessed by this book. Each of us, if I may speak for you, Aaron, both of us have had our lives opened and transformed and expanded in such amazing ways. My understanding of who Jesus is, who God is, what forgiveness is, and how it actually can work and transform you. It's all in this book, and it's all waiting for you here at LTC. Boom.
Dude, sign me up. Let's go.
Aaron's paying himself.
Now, I mean, if I could add anything to that, I would say, you know, when I started studying ACIM 10 years ago, and I'm reading things like the song we just listened to, I snagged a line right out of ACIM, right? Heaven is entered 2 by 2. And I would read that and study this material and just think, gosh, I hope this is true. Like, I really hope what this book is saying is the real deal, because I just want freedom from suffering so bad. And that's how I started the journey. And now, like, even making this song, writing the lyrics, listening to it, when I read ACIM, like, I just get tears come to my eyes frequently because I'm reading it now with absolutely no wonder if it's true, but only this beautiful heart confirmation of, this is the highest truth that there is. I experienced this truth in my life. Amen. Heaven really is entered 2 by 2. The kingdom really is the one right in front of you. Forgiveness really is the way we return to truth. And when you experience that for yourself, it gives you a taste of this book that you can only get through lived experience, right? And that's what we try to do in LTC, is like, we want to transfer this embodiment of these teachings and principles, which admittedly are not easy to digest at first.
No.
And does require some study, some hand-holding, but man, there's just nothing more worth your time than doing this. And so we're going to do this today with lesson 167, which is, there is one life, and that I share with God. And we chose this lesson because this is another one of the key core concepts of ACIM that really help to retrain your mind and get you into that Christ consciousness where you understand there is no death. There's only eternal life. God is life. There's no death in God. Therefore, there's no death in me. So death is an illusion of the mind. And the ego uses this illusion that, hey, you're a time-bound entity, you're going to die, to basically run your entire life from the shadows. And so ACIM helps to set us free from that in this lesson today. So yes, we would absolutely love you to join us next year in 2026, every single morning, doing this work together exactly as we're doing it now. And again, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee for you guys, in addition to year-long payment plans. But you can try out LTC for 30 days and just see if by day 29, if you don't already feel a transformation taking place in your consciousness, I would be very shocked and surprised. But with that being said, Mark, let's go ahead and do some centering to get present, and then we'll dive into the lesson for today.
Yeah, perfect. Wonderful. So if it's possible for you, because we're giving you a taste of how we roll, we begin with centering. If it's possible for you to close your eyes, joining me in taking your attention off of the external world, that allows us to breathe ourselves to that inner world. Breathing in deeply. Exhaling, feeling the body relax and let go. Another nice slow inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, Imagine blowing away the entire past. It just disappears on the exhale. Breathing again deeply into this now moment. This time, we exhale out the future, all that we're making up about it. The only place to access the life of God is in this holy instant, right here, right now. So having released the past, having let go of the future, be here now and use your breath to locate yourself more deeply anchored in this holy instant. Imagine a ball of golden light in the center of your chest that represents the presence of the God self. Breathing into this life, breathing into this light. Imagine that it begins to spread. It fills the heart. It spreads through the body. God's light, fill my body. God's light, take over my heart. Extending beyond the edges of the body, God's light, fill my mind. Extending further and further out, God's light, fill my relationships. Extending further and further, God's light, fill my world. Just for a moment, imagine this golden light, the light of God that you are, extending further and further out into the entire universe. God's light, fill my universe until that is all that there is. And I am that. Breathe that in. I am the light and the love of God. Deep breath. Pulling all of that light right back into your heart, taking a moment, if it's possible, to place your hand on your heart, sealing it there. We share this light, and this is the light that is the foundation upon which we meet. This is the light that brings to each one of us the appointed miracles that are here for us today. We say yes to this. And so it is. Opening your eyes when you're ready.
Wonderful, Mark. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And let's take a nice deep breath and get ready to transition into our lesson for today. A little bit shorter lesson than yesterday, thankfully. Less reading anyways. But this is a good one. This is one of those lessons, Mark, I have half of it highlighted in my ACIM Kindle.
Yeah.
You see yellow everywhere. You're like, yes, it's going to be a good one. All right, guys. So lesson 167 of ACIM. There is one life, and that I share with God. Cannot overstate what an important concept this is to grasp, what ACIM is trying to put forward to us today. So it says, there are not different kinds of life, for life is like the truth. It does not have degrees. It is the one condition in which all that God created share. So you guys see that? Is that big enough? Okay, good. Like all his thoughts, it has no opposite. So there's no opposite to life. There is no death because what God created shares his life. There is no death because an opposite to God does not exist. There is no death because the Father and the Son are one. This is one of the concepts, Mark, one of the ontological concepts about God that I took for granted or didn't understand well enough, rather, until I read ACIM. Not just growing up as a Christian, but even up until really studying this text. Like, this to me is the most common sense, almost like kindergarten metaphysics. It's like, yeah, of course, there's one source, which means there's one life, which means there is no separation from that one source and that one life. You cannot exist apart from the source of all existence. Period. End of story. So all of religion's philosophies of separation and damnation and all these things fall flat on their face under this fallacy that there is a second option apart from God, that you can be separate but still go on existing in some kind of tormented state. ACIM ruins all of these ideas of the ego with this philosophy here, which is, thank God it does, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Go for it, Mark.
It goes on to speak more deeply to that, as it says, in this world, there appears to be a state that is life's opposite. So it doesn't deny that this world you're in appears to have both. You call this opposite death. Yet we have learned that the idea of death takes many forms. It is the one idea which underlies all feelings that are not supremely happy. What a definition of death. I mean, that's amazing. The one idea which underlies all feelings that are not supremely happy. It is the alarm to which you give response of any kind that is not perfect joy. All sorrow, loss, anxiety, suffering and pain, even a little sigh of weariness, a slight discomfort, or the merest frown acknowledge death, and thus deny you life. You think that death is of the body, yet it is but an idea, irrelevant to what is seen as physical. A thought is in the mind. It can be then applied as mind directs it, but its origin is where it must be changed if change occurs. Ideas leave not their source. The emphasis this course has placed on that idea is due to its centrality in our attempts to change your mind about yourself. It is the reason you can heal. It is the cause of healing. It is why you cannot die. Its truth established you as one with God. This is where people grapple for a while as they're allowing the course to transform their mind, because they're so conditioned, we're so conditioned to let the world inform. There is death, there is sorrow, people are crying, people are in pain. This is what's happening. And that pull to that world, that suffering world, is got a strong hypnotic trance to it. And it seduces us and it seduces us, and the world is seduced to it. And yet this course comes along and says, challenge every idea. Challenge every idea that is less than the joy of God. Now we have a measuring stick. Now we can simply say with no blame or shame, this is not about making us wrong for these things appearing. It's just the opportunity to say, if there's only life, if there's only joy, if there's only abundance, if my spiritual nature is only all of that with no opposite, now I can see the distance. Now I see the gap between the reality of God and my spiritual truth and this illusory world. It's a phenomenal view when you don't make yourself wrong about it. You get that, Aaron? Because that's what happens. People make themselves bad and wrong, and then they go down the rabbit hole.
Yes. The ego is always looking to invest us with guilt.
Yeah.
Guilt, the course explains, is really a linchpin for the ego's program. And what underlies guilt is the belief in death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guilt is kind of like this connection to death of like, oh, did I do something wrong that's going to bring about my annihilation sooner? Is God angry with me or something like that?
Right.
And, this, Mark, is another, I would say, like top 3 key ideas from ACIM, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, totally. And I'm telling you, I got to say, in LTC, through the years we've worked together, Aaron, you have a depth of understanding on this one, and you reference it in ways that has caused me to go deeper to the principle of this that sits in the center. So a little bowing to you. This is powerful. And I've experienced you getting it in a way. We like the word grok. You grok this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to GROK this one for sure.
Yeah.
Grok it. You have to grok it. Because I mean, this is the whole premise for forgiveness right here. Ideas leave not their source. When you get that, this is one of those key concepts that makes things like judgment just kind of disappear from your mind, in terms of like, you don't have to try to stop judging and like monitor your mind for judgments all day long. You just kind of lose the ability to judge, because you perceive judgmental thoughts like a hot potato in your hands. And so if someone threw a hot potato in your hands, would you have to sit there and think about how hot it is, and maybe I should get rid of this potato. You wouldn't, right? You'd react instinctively and toss that sucker out of your hands because it's burning you. Well, when you're aware of just how much judgmental thoughts burn you, ideas leave not their source. It's like, hey, who's the one holding the angry judgmental thought in their brain? You are, right? Just like I apologize, I have the freaking lyrics to the song still rolling through my head, but he says, unforgiveness is a poison that you're drinking for a foe while you're swallowing that bitterness, drinking it whole, something like that. It's exactly what it is, right? You're drinking poison, you're swallowing bitterness and hoping that it affects them in some way. And the Course is like, hey, sweetheart, you know that ideas don't leave their source, right? It's not like when you think a judgmental thought, it just plops out of your brain all of a sudden and into their brain and starts affecting them. But this is the silly idea ego paints for us, is that our judgmental thoughts accomplish some sort of good for us. And the Course helps us to see that there is no goodness accomplished through judgment. All it can do is bring about more suffering. So moving on to paragraph 4, it says, death is the thought that you are separate from your creator. Isn't that the truth? It is the belief conditions change. That's God's conditions, basically, right?
Yeah.
Emotions alternate because of causes you cannot control, you did not make, and you can never change. So you're a victim to life and reality is what it's saying here. This is what death says to us. It is the fixed belief ideas can leave their source and take on qualities the source does not contain, becoming different from their own origin, apart from it in kind as well as distance, time, and form. So that's a huge part too, that when we understand that we are the origin for every negative thought, apart from it in kind as well as distance, time, and form, we understand that these thoughts that we think in order to harm someone else in our mind actually have no effect on them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't even know that we're judging them. Most of the time people aren't even aware of it. So we're literally like in a corner punching ourselves in the face or something, mentally, thinking that we're harming someone. When you start to see this, forgiveness becomes the most obvious thing in the world, because you're like, oh, I just don't want to hurt myself. So I refuse to do further harm to myself by holding these angry thoughts. So if the worst thing in the world happened to you, under that recognition, you would have no less difficulty forgiving it, because forgiveness is the same logical premise every single time. It's, look, God is in control. God is the justice bringer in this universe. I need do nothing to bring about justice. And all this angry thought can do is harm me, right? So I'm not going to hold on to it. Then it says, death cannot come from life. Ideas remain united to their source. They can extend all that their source contains. In that, they can go far beyond themselves, but they cannot give birth to what was never given them. As they are made, so will their making be. As they were born, so will they then give birth. And where they come from, there they will return. That's a huge one. And where they come from, they will return. So even if your judgmental thoughts right now don't appear to be haunting you or bothering you, don't worry, they will at some point, is what the Course is saying. Go for it, Mark.
I want to add real quickly, simply saying, think about this as a boomerang. It's just the perfect way to think about it. You think you're throwing something out and it boomerangs right back at you. That's how I think about it. It will stop you from spreading or thinking you're spreading all this darkness. All right, reading on.
Perfect analogy.
The mind can think it sleeps, but that is all. It cannot change what is its waking state. It cannot make a body nor abide within a body. That's interesting, isn't it? What is alien to the mind does not exist, because it has no source. For mind creates all things that are and cannot give them attributes it lacks, nor change its own eternal mindful state. It cannot make the physical. What seems to die is but the sign of mind asleep. This is like the core of A Course in Miracles that, again, takes some people a while to really, really understand, but it is absolute true freedom. True freedom. What is alien to the life of God does not exist. Love cannot know hate. Abundance cannot know lack. Wholeness and vitality cannot know sickness. And so over and over, the Course brings us back. Identify with the abundance of your being. Identify with the life of your being. Identify with the eternal aspect of who you are, and watch those transitory experiences that have no real source to them disappear. Again, I want to add one more thing here, simply that I like to think about it this way. What is real, capital R, comes from God, and it is eternal, and it cannot be extinguished forevermore. What is not real is anything that comes and goes, anything that rises up into experience and disappears. That are all your thoughts of fear, all your experiences of fear, and even ultimately the body itself. So anything that falls into that category, that's how I think about it. And it makes it simple, to think about it. I want the eternal life of God. And in fact, that's what you are. You are the real eternal life of God.
Oh, so well said, man. I'm glad you brought that up, because I saw a comment yesterday where somebody said, hey, when you gave those definitions for what real means, when we use the term real or reality, they were like, wow, that was so helpful. So I thought it just bears repeating. When we use the term real, like Mark just said, it's real refers to a certain set of criteria, right? Mm-hmm. Real doesn't just mean, well, I experienced it. That doesn't make it real, right? You can experience a hallucination, doesn't make it real. What is real is eternal, unchanging, and self-sufficient. Those are the three big criteria. Self-sufficient meaning it doesn't depend on something outside of itself to derive its own existence. Like a shadow, right? A shadow depends on sunlight, an object, a flat surface. It's not real. It's an illusion. There's nothing actually there. It appears to be there, and you look at it and you point to it, but when you try to grab it, find it, prove its existence in any way, it's not there. That's what the ego's illusions are like. They feel real. You experience them like they're real. Yep. When you grasp for them, you grab nothing but air, because they are not dependent upon themselves. They're not eternal, and they're always in a state of change, a state of flux, right? Our thoughts, our stories, our feelings, they're always changing. So the Course says that's not where we should find the foundation for our house to build, as Jesus said. That's the house built on sand, thoughts, feelings, projections, stories. Don't build your house there. Build it on the rock of eternal truth. What is eternal, unchanging, and self-sufficient. Let's go, baby. We're having church.
We are preaching. We are preaching today. All right. Are we at the opposite of life?
Yes.
That paragraph. All right, I'll read a few more. The opposite of life can only be another form of life. As such, it can be reconciled with what created it, because it is not opposite in truth. Its form may change. It may appear to be what it's not. Yet mind is mind, awake or asleep. It is not its opposite in anything created, nor in what it seems to make when it believes it sleeps. So the mind is creating a dream or creating reality, capital R. The mind remains the same. God creates only mind awake. He does not sleep, and his creations cannot share what he gives not, nor make conditions which he does not share with them. The thought of death is not the opposite to thought of life. That's a powerful underline, everybody. Forever unopposed by opposites of any kind. The thought of God remains forever changeless, with the power to extend forever changelessly, but yet within themselves, for they are everywhere. I'll pass to you.
Wow, it's so good, man.
Yeah.
It makes me think about like the philosophy of life, or the philosophy of death. When people discuss death as being something real, our whole world is run by the belief that death is real. And everybody is running away from it, trying to delay it, and so on and so forth. And when it happens to someone that you love, it's just seen as the most devastating possible travesty. It's seen as like something good has been eternally annihilated and lost, And so people weep and mourn, and that's very much appropriate for the human experience at some level. But I'm telling you, there's a dimension of freedom in God where you can just know all life is eternal. It is impossible that life can be wiped out of existence, because all life comes from God, the one source of life, and God cannot be diminished or annihilated or wiped out. So all life, just like every thought, comes from your mind and returns to your mind, as the Course said. All life comes from God and returns to God. So my question to like the skeptical, atheist, nihilistic thinker would be, can you see the life force that's animating, the consciousness that animates the person in front of you or an animal or something? See, no, I can't see the life. I just see the form it animates, right? I see the body, I see the animal form or whatever, but the actual consciousness, the aliveness, I don't see that. I would say, okay, then what proof do you have that that invisible, intangible thing you don't see anyways is wiped out with the physical body? I don't think that logic follows, right? If we don't have any proof of the life force energy being visible, how do we know it becomes annihilated? So the Course asks us these kinds of questions and gets us thinking in new ways, which start to circumvent some of the ego's thoughts.
And you know what also is really important, Aaron, real quickly, is this is the grand illusion that much of the Christian faith will not let go of. Jesus died. Jesus died for your sins. Jesus died on the cross. And this Course in Miracles debunks that whole idea, which is a big rock to have blown up in your consciousness. And Jesus says himself, I did not die. I could not die. It's not possible because I am not the body. This was his point. You can't kill me. This is not, he knew this so to the core of his being that he walked that path gracefully. He walked that path in forgiveness and in love because he knew it was his path to walk for his freedom. But that's really key because inherent in the Christian faith for many, this is guilt. This is where the guilt resides. He died for my sins. And it's challenging to release, Aaron, the idea that no, he didn't.
Yeah, no one can pay for the sins of another person.
Nope.
The Bible says this, A Course in Miracles alludes to this. It's like the thoughts, the sinful thoughts and ideas in your mind, they don't leave, my friend. They stay in their source, in their origin. So you've got to deal with them at the level of their origin.
Yeah.
The Course is always getting us to look away from the realm of effects, which is the ego's domain, thoughts, projections. Look away from the world of effects. Go to the world of causes, which is the way you perceive, how you think, the way you understand certain things. That will shape the effects naturally. Yes. And boy, is it true. I mean, we used to joke about this in LTC. It's like, okay, if Jesus was literally just God, who was like, let me just wrap myself in some skin and go down there and crucify myself so I can forgive them to myself. It's like, then he obviously didn't die because he resurrected, I think it's like 36 hours, according to the biblical narrative. Crucified Friday night, resurrects early Sunday morning. That's like 36 hours at best. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so God just gave up a weekend. Like, nobody died for you. Jesus resurrects right away. So what is the metaphysical representation of the crucifixion? Because the literalistic interpretation makes no sense.
Right.
Metaphysically, Jesus shows us what we all have to go through on the cross, nailing your ego to the cross of love, to the cross of forgiveness, and forgiving those who harm you while it happens. This is true Christ consciousness. And when you die to the self, to the ego self, you resurrect to the Christ nature. This is exactly what the Course teaches us. Exactly. That by offering freedom, you are made free and you become the Christ in your world. You now become the source of that love and that presence of God, which we always used to outsource to Jesus. Oh, he's so one with God. And all the while, Jesus is like, and so are you. Claim it, own it. Don't just keep looking to me and idolizing me,
Yeah, yeah.
So paragraph 9, I think this is our second to last. Okay, fourth to last paragraph.
Yeah, yeah.
What seems to be the opposite of life is merely sleeping. That's a cool line.
It is.
So death is merely sleeping. When the mind elects to be what it is not and to assume an alien power which it does not have, a foreign state it cannot enter, or a false condition not within its source, it merely seems to go to sleep a while. It dreams of time, an interval in which what seems to happen never has occurred. The changes wrought are substanceless, and all events are nowhere. When the mind awakes, it but continues as it always was. There's a line somewhere in the Course I love, Mark, that says, the true rest comes from waking, not from sleeping. Yeah. Wow, what a great paradoxical, turnaround there. True rest is waking, not sleeping. In fact, this idea of death being a sleeping state, meaning there is no actual annihilation state. There's just a kind of sleeping state for the soul, is actually original to Semitic beliefs. And Jesus references this a number of times. And even in the Hebrew Gospel of Matthew, the oldest gospel account we have, just some fragments of it, there's a resurrection occurrence in the Hebrew Gospel where Jesus appears to his brother James, and his brother had taken a vow to fast while he was crucified to help resurrect his brother back to life. And Jesus hands James a loaf of bread and says, "Eat thy bread, brother, for the Son of Man has arisen from among those who sleep." So he doesn't say who are dead, but among those who sleep. So even the Course is reflecting this idea that life can't have an opposite. And so therefore, what is the opposite of life is actually just being ignorant of life, being asleep spiritually.
Totally.
Let us today be children of the truth and not deny our holy heritage. Our life is not as we imagine it. Who changes life because he shuts his eyes, or makes himself what he is not because he sleeps, and sees in dreams an opposite to what he is? We will not ask for death in any form today, nor will we let imagined opposites to life abide even an instant where the thought of life eternal has been set by God himself. Beautiful. You can finish these last two, Mark.
His holy home we strive to keep today as he established it, and wills it be forever and forever. He is Lord of what we think today. He is law. Lord is metaphysically means law. He is law of what we think today. And in his thoughts, which have no opposite, we understand there is one life, and that we share with him, with all creation, with their thoughts as well, whom he created in the unity of life that cannot separate in death and leave the source of life from where it came. Remember, idea does not leave its source. God is the idea of life. It does not leave, cannot change. It does not leave its source, and you are in that. We share one life because we have one source, a source from which perfection comes to us, remaining always in the holy minds which he created perfect. As we were, so are we now and will forever be. A sleeping mind must waken, and it sees its own perfection mirroring the Lord of life so perfectly it fades into what is reflected there. And now it is no more a mere reflection. It becomes the thing reflected, and the light which makes reflection possible. No vision now is needed, for the wakened mind is one that knows its source, itself, its holiness. So, lovely last line. You are the wakened mind. That is what you are. Dreaming yourself 1,000 different variations of otherness will not change this inherent truth. This is what the Course rings and beats the drum from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. And it helps you systematically release and remove the layers of false beliefs and fears that are simply keeping you from this truth. I am the wakened mind. Within me, I am the source. I am the self. I am holy. This is not blasphemy. This is not you going against the world's truth. This is you looking at the world's lies, releasing them, and then embodying your truth of your divinity. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Who doesn't want that? I'm trying to find the line in here I loved. A sleeping mind must waken as it sees its own perfection mirroring the Lord of life so perfectly, it fades into what is reflected there. So it's like you become so entranced with God's perfection. This is what happens when we meditate on the ontological facts of God's nature. God is all powerful, all knowing, all present, all loving and good. God is one and cannot change. When you let that get into your spirit, it absolves you into it. It's like you just kind of melt into that truth where God's nature is the only thing you can really see anymore. And because you know God is perfect, because you know God is love, you know that you must be too. An idea can't leave its source, right? You are an idea in the mind of God. Aaron Abke is a divine idea in the mind of God. Mark Anthony Lord is a divine idea in the mind of God. And ideas leave not their source, is what the Course says. this is a place you get to subconsciously more than consciously. You can know these things mentally and be able to teach them and explain them to others, but not get it on a heart, soul level, like get it in your belly, get it in your bones. But the Course, when you read, you can kind of see the effects, right, that reading this has. In fact, the Course is actually written in a kind of poetic format, a prose. I can't remember. I think it's iambic pentameter or something like that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's written in that form so that it has a kind of hypnotic effect on you. Yeah. And you might be reading it and your conscious mind is like, oh, I'm kind of picking up what it's saying. At least for me, I'm talking from my experience. When you first come to it, you're like, what? On the top level, but a deeper level of you is like, wow, this is like high level truth I'm hearing, you know? Maybe I don't really get it, but I know it's truth. And just the reading, the drinking it in has an effect on you where you start to get these ideas that, oh, duh, if God's eternal, then I have to be eternal. God can't create something unlike itself. That makes no sense at all. And so there's just a peace that comes over you. There's just a clarity of thought and mind you live with that you don't need to fight or war any longer against life. You've accepted the kingdom of heaven that God has created, that, look, I'm already a perfect being walking in a perfect universe, but it's a level of awareness it requires to see that. I can't make it so, it just is so. But are you aware of it is the question.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And are you willing to, as you notice the ways you're seeing the world that appear to be separate, are you willing there to take the breath and then remember there's one life and that I share with God? That will lift you up into the truth and begin causing within you the healing of the mind. Simply, the Course says our problem is a split mind. We are trying to entertain love and fear. That's why we are in hell. One is real, one is not. Fear is an illusion, and as soon as you stop giving it your attention, as soon as you stop feeding it, it will disappear. You have known that in your own life. Think about the child who's afraid of the monster in the closet. The child that's very convinced and very emotionally activated by the idea that there's a monster in their closet. And what does a loving parent do? They open the closet door, they shine the light, and they help the child discover that there's nothing there. As soon as the child accepts this truth, falls asleep easily back to its own peace. That's what the Course does.
It is, man. And this is why Jesus said to enter the kingdom, you have to become like a little child. I have memories of this, Mark, when I would have little, nighttime scare episodes when I was 5 or something. When I was 15, I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'd be in my room and hear a noise or something, and I go running to my parents' room and, Dad, Mom, I feel like there's a demon in my closet or whatever. And my dad would let me lay next to him. And I'd be so scared. Like, I really believed there was a demon in my room. It wasn't like pretend to me or something. Yeah. But as I'm laying there, I just could not be in fear laying next to my dad, because I had this knowing of like, whatever comes my way, like my father's right here. So I'm good. And in the very same way, like you can have that level of relationship with your heavenly creator, with God, such that no matter what befalls me in this life, I cannot fear, for thou art with me. My Father is with me. I'm always safe in my Father's arms. You can have the same recognition that quells the frightened mind of the child at night. Like it's still your inner child that's thinking that there's demons in the closet, as you said, Mark. And ACIM just helps you to understand the nature of God in that way, where it just removes your ability to fear, because, hey, I'm just convinced God's omnipotent. Sorry, I can't argue with it anymore,
Right. Yeah, it's great. So that's our lesson for today. And it's a rich one. It is one that sets you free. It is one that speaks so clearly to the truth of your identity and shows you the illusion. That's what the Course does, that all year long in so many different ways. It's just such a rich path. And again, we want to invite you to join us. Join us what I also want to speak to briefly is how beautiful the community is. There's a vibrancy. There's a real vibrancy to living. And we have fun and we laugh and we joke and we meet life on life's terms in a way that causes it to loosen up, because we just let joy be in the center of all that we're doing. I think that's one of the key things that we're just so blessed that was here kind of in our relationship, we have so much fun together, but that also ripples out into the community. So it's a creative, fun way to do the course. And to me, there's no better way for it to get in you.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I couldn't agree more. We said this yesterday, but like when we came together to build LTC, we thought, ACIM is the ACIM world's a bit dry and bland. We need to spice it up a bit.
Yeah.
And it's very organic between us. Like we just love to joke around and have a good time. But we think that having fun with the course, and we have like so many inside jokes in LTC. It's such a blast that when you have fun with it, it actually makes it come to life more, because one of the opening lines of the course says, a tiny mad idea entered the Son of God's mind, where the Son of God forgot to laugh.
Right.
And like, that's where it all started. When the Son of God forgot to laugh, that's where the ego entered and, sin entered and all that stuff. And it's kind of a cool thing to think about, right? That laughter and humor and joy is actually like the elixir of God, the nature of God. That when you're in joy and happiness, you're in God's nature in that moment. So you can actually, if you try to feel like, I need to get into my brain course, it can be a bit tough, because you've got this barrier to entry with the languaging and the deep philosophy. But when you play with it lightheartedly and have fun with it and laugh throughout it, it has a way of opening up your subconscious mind to get these concepts. And it's also just a lot more fun to have fun, isn't it? So
it really
please
is.
Join us, guys. Yeah, we have such a beautiful community of people, as Mark said. We even have leadership positions within LTC that if you've been in LTC for a year or two, you can start stewarding one of our, private group calls, watch parties, and these different things. So there's opportunities to grow as ACIM student and being of service to one another. And also, it's just really cool to go through a whole year with people. I think that's also something we take for granted, the power of that, Mark, that you start January 1, and most people start the course because their life is either in shambles or they're just really going through some difficult times and they feel like they need a real spiritual upgrade. And the people that, finish LTC on December 31st are unrecognizable from the ones that started on January 1st, because we like to say this is like your daily supplement or something. You just take your supplement, take your medicine, swallow it every morning. And it's the long systemic effects that the course has that really, when you look back and you see the wake of change behind you, you almost can't believe it.
Yeah.
Wow. Just in 1 year, I could literally drop things that I was holding for 20, 30 years, resentments, grievances, traumas. Mark, you have an amazing, inspiring story of childhood trauma that brought you to the place of being an ACIM teacher. And we see people set free from every kind of mental imagine. Oops.
Sorry.
As we're getting a call from the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. It is. Put on Do Not Disturb. Do you hear that reverb now?
No, you're good.
Huh.
You're hearing a reverb?
I am.
They kick you out, bring you back.
Okay, perfect. There is a question, and I'd want to pull it up because it was a good one. Rolled up. Shoot, give me a moment here.
Is this a live program or pre-recorded lesson?
There you go. I love that. LTC is a hybrid. Aaron and I have spent 4 years recording the lessons, the workbook, the manual for teachers, as well as, by the way, over 30 master classes that take the key principles like Father, like Son, like Christ, the atonement, taking these concepts and breaking them down. So there's a lot of content, more probably than you can consume in the year, but that's a good problem. So combined with all of that pre-recorded, we have the live community component. Every single day, we have what's called a watch party, where you come together, we watch the recorded lesson together, and then there's a little bit of time afterward for you to share, for you to hear other people's questions, grappling. People ask for prayer. It's a real spirit-centered community. We also spend the time together reading live the textbook and exploring that and embodying that. And then, as Aaron mentioned, there's also groups, little affinity groups, a men's group, a women's group, people that want to come together who walk a similar identity and path this lifetime, sharing and bringing the course to the center of that. So it's there's a whole like, gosh, I'm seeing like a whole merry-go-round of options for you to be a part of. But I actually love how it has formed itself as a perfect hybrid.
Yeah, when you said there's almost too much content to consume in 1 year, I would agree, actually. I think it's probably impossible that you could consume all the content because, again, it's every single day. Just like doing 365 daily lessons is, a solid amount of daily content in and of itself. But again, on Monday nights, we have a 90-minute study the text live recording. So the first 3 Mondays, I think, of every month, we take the 4th one off. And that's where we go through each chapter of the course. Is there, how many, Mark? Is it like 33 or 31? Chapter 32, maybe?
33.
Okay. So we do 33.
I don't know.
It's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
33 of those. And then we have the teacher's manual, which is 1 video lesson a month that goes through the chapters of the teacher's manual. And then we have like 12 something master classes where we did a master class every month. The first year we did LTC, where we just took one of the key terms. This is the way we tried to help our students unpack the language, is we take these gospel sounding, biblical sounding terms like Holy Spirit, like atonement, like salvation, like sin. And we say, hey, here's what the course means when it says that. Yeah. So sin, for example, is a mistake in perception. You are perceiving reality incorrectly. And that's a very different definition than the religious idea that you've sort of made a blight against God that has angered God, and therefore wrath is coming towards you. The course is like, hey, that's a very like ancient, simpleton way of looking at sin. It's kind of true in that when you violate reality, I love how you said, Mark, the word Lord really means law.
Yeah.
Like that's such a great way of understanding that term too. Lord equals law. There are laws that govern the universe. Really, there's just one law, the law of oneness or reciprocity, giving and receiving, karma, sowing and reaping. This is the one law. So yeah, whatever you put out will come back to you, the boomerang effect. So it's like there's a wrathful God maybe, but there isn't actually a wrathful God. There is no being that is angry and punishing you. It's actually your own thoughts coming back at you in that boomerang form. So the course will break these things down in a way that takes out some of the charge that these words have from those of us who grew up religious, like sin, like atonement. Atonement is at one meant, right? To become one with truth is atonement. So we are atoned in our mind, not through an animal on an altar or Jesus on the cross. There's nothing outside of you that can atone for your own mind. Your mind is in here. You have to do it by correcting the illusions with truth, by forgiveness and so forth. So you'll get all of those master classes as well that you can watch to really push you on the fast track to picking up the language that you're reading, because it's we talk about it like learning a second language, Mark. If you're learning Spanish or something, you get past a certain curve when you're learning a language where all of a sudden you can read it and you're like, oh, I'm like really picking this. Like I can just read this in Spanish now and I get it. Yeah. The course is like that too, right? Where you start reading it and you go, oh, I'm just getting the philosophical ideas it's putting forth. There's no barrier anymore with the language because it's very consistent in the way it uses these terms. So it is kind of fun to learn the language of the course throughout the year as well. And then you start unpacking these ideas the way Mark and I do on these videos, but for yourself while you're reading it, the course just starts to come to life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the last thing I'll add as we're beginning to wrap this up is what you pointed to also, Aaron, is that another reason I find community to be so vitally important is that our world is largely designed, our relationships are designed in the ego world. There's fear, there's separation appearing from the moment we open our eyes until we close them, and even as we dream. So to take on a spiritual awakening program like this, to do it alone while you're immersed in the conditioning of your relationships, that's really, really hard. Few can do that. That's why the community is so helpful. You get to come to this safe, sacred hub where everyone's learning the new language that Aaron mentioned together. Everyone's practicing becoming free through forgiveness, through intention, through contemplation, through study, through surrender. We're doing it together. You've got people who have your back. and they know the truth for you so that you can begin living that truth more quickly and easily. That's what this community offers. If you want to go it alone and you know you're meant to do it, there are those that can, but this is the fast track. And as we mentioned earlier, it's fun, it's loving, you're seen, you're supported. When you do hit a breakdown that feels overwhelming, people are just smiling their love at you and lifting you up. It's glorious.
Indeed it is, man. We love it so much, and we invite you to join us next year in 2026. You can click the link below to learn more. Again, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee, because we like to put the ball in your court. Say, hey, like, let us know if this is aligned for you or not, because if it's not, no problem. But we give you that 30-day runway, and then we also have payment plans now throughout the year to make those small monthly incremental payments instead of a upfront one-time payment if you don't have the investment for that. So we've got lots of options to support you. If you feel called to the course, if you need support, please email us at support@4duniversity.com. Let us know what kind of support you need to join LTC, and we'll see if we can help you out.
Yeah.
And with that being said, Mark, we got one more day, not only for a taste of LTC, but one more day in 2025. So we will see you guys back here tomorrow for our final lesson of ACIM in 2025.
Yeah. Peace and love.
Much love, you guys.